Looking for a way to support our family without paying a dime? Like this video and subscribe to our channel. Hello and welcome to Steady Presence Farms. Today's up is Mom trying to find herself. I'm your host, Mom. I'm Ashley, and I decided that today's video is going to be about not homeschooling. I mean, everything's about homesteading for me, because that's what I love. And that's what reduces stress often for me and stuff. So today is going to be Mom is irritable and overstimulated and decided to remove herself from the situation and go out to the garden. So I just kind of wanted to have a chat about what did I want to have a chat about? I wanted to have a chat about how homeschooling takes a lot out of us as moms, mostly because of how society is set up, and the fact that most of us, our husbands, are out working all day, and that's a lot of pressure to put on us during the day. Let me show you what I just found. I wonder if it's gonna make it to be big enough. There's two, you guys. These are Trombosino squash. These guys. Oh my gosh, Dylan's gonna lose his mind. Trombosinos are cool because they heal themselves. They're a summer and winter squash, and if you use them as a summer squash, or as a winter squash, whatever, if you use some of them, you cut a chunk off and then you just let it do its thing in the pantry, it will heal itself without rotting, and then you can keep it on the shelf. So that's really cool. And they're also just super massive. Ooh, we've got zucchinis. So this is what my growing season mom walking away because she needs therapy looks like. And honestly, ooh, weird. Go away, mosquitoes. Honestly, every year when fall comes around, I love fall with all of my heart, but then I get this sinking feeling in my soul that winter is right around the corner, and I struggle with anxiety and depression on and off. I found a lot of really healthy ways to manage it without medication. I'm on a healing journey of reprocessing emotions and just mindset change and all of these things. And so it's good. And this year is going to be the best out of a lot of the last few years. I know that because we did obviously our first winter here last year on the farm, and there were still hard chunks and seasonal affective disorder issues and all of these things, but it was way better than any winter that I had spent in the city. So there's a third one. Gosh. So, but every year around this time, I get really anxious for a few reasons. Okay, how is this winter going to go? How am I going to survive the dark and the cold? another year. What is it going to bring for me? And more in the last like 2-3 years, since I've kind of tuned into the seasons of life that we go through as producers, I get this spidey sense feeling of like, oh, do we have enough food? Do we have enough food in the pantry? What if whatever? Like that is just a major part of this, that's what I'm going to call it, spidey sense tingling of here comes this scary new season, which if you haven't been here for a long time, we live in Northeast Wisconsin, and I always forget our zone. People are always telling their zones, and I'm like, yeah, I don't remember. I only remember my zone when I have to pick out seeds. But we're in a northern climate, and it's winter for about 6 months, 7 months out of the year. So we're just heading into that, and I'm feeling this pressure. Do we have enough food put away? Especially this year, do we have enough food put away? And then how am I gonna get through the I want to say like the darkness. But so there's a few things we've done in the interest of mental health. So last year in January, well, since we moved here last August, I had my eyes peeled for a dog. And I've never owned a dog. Dylan grew up with a family dog, so he had that experience, but I've never had a dog. And we were looking for a dog as just like another part of the farm. But, ooh, should we pick before the season's done? Okay, I'll come back to Lovage thought. So I had my eyes peeled for a dog, and I was on Craigslist in the farm section, because that's just where I spend all my free time on the internet. And I found this Australian cattle mix, great with dogs and kids, 1 year old. I don't remember what else she had said, but it was like the most brief description of anybody's life. And I was like, I feel good about that. So I messaged the owner, and I was like, hey, can you bring him out here to the farm instead of us coming to you? Because I really want to see, great with kids and other animals, I think is what the post had said. I was like, I really want to see him in action with my animals and my boys, who are not even a little bit dog people at this point. Ted did not like dogs, and Vinny was totally indifferent, like not in a positive way. And so she's like, sure, yeah, I'll bring him out. So he was like the most perfect fit as soon as he got here. And that's our Charlie Brown. I'll find him at some point in this video so you can see him. So we got the dog, and that was like for farm purposes, right? But then really, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a cool thing for my mental health, because I'm going to set a rule that I have to go outside with the dog when he has to potty, which I'm gonna have to continue to set that rule for myself this year, because he doesn't need anybody to go out with him. Last year we didn't know if he would stay if he wasn't on a leash. So we were like, we had to be out there when he went potty. He stays fine. he always comes back. He's got 5 acres to mess around on. So so I still have to set that rule for myself, because it did change a lot of things about my winter mental health. I have to go outside. I have to feel the sun on my face, even though it is -20 outside. And I'm going to try and use that to help flip my perspective about winter. So we have that going for us. I'm going to be working on a self-paced childbirth education course, designing one over the winter. So professionally, like, I'm really looking forward to really restorative rest physically, and then being able to do all of these mental tasks that take the back burner once growing season hits. So planning on doing that. I am working on a better morning routine for us, because I think that just sets me up for success or failure, which I know all kinds of people have that exact same experience, and I've heard that as wisdom from other people. And do I take that wisdom? No. I have to learn it for myself and be like, oh, I've had all these crappy days, and then I had to get up early for something, and look, my day was so much better. Well, go figure, Ashley. Everybody already told you that, but that's just who I am. So, working on a morning routine, which maybe I'll make another video about once I have myself together and figured out a little bit. But those are my mental health thoughts. So this is where I go when I can't hang anymore as a mom of these beautiful children that I love dearly, because we're just all going to have those moments. So garden stuff. So I got a pretty, for it being so fall, I am super pleased with this basket. Let me sit and show you the things. So I'm going to pick herbs for dehydrating today. And we have to designate a day that we do it, because they're so tender that if you let them sit for like a day, by that time they're weird. And so we've known that about ourselves. We need to get on it right away. So lovage is a cooking herb that's really, really popular in the UK, I guess. As you can see, it looks like celery tops, and it smells and tastes exactly like celery. So it's a great thing to harvest all year, and then you don't have to buy celery, because celery use like 2 ribs for something, and then it just goes to die in our fridge, and we end up giving it to the animals. And then you don't have to deal with the strings. So I think it's really nice. It's a big perennial herb, so it gets to be like 6 feet tall and 1.5 feet or 2 feet wide. It's beautiful. It's fragrant. I love it. And I got that from my dear friend Carrie at the Seed Guild. So streets over, which is so cool. Shishito peppers, and they're a little small, but they'll do the job. Those were rescues from my friend Carrie. She has access to a greenhouse, and they were going to be composting a bunch of plants that they didn't have time to plant yet at this urban farm. She's like, you should take them, because otherwise they're going to the compost pile. And I was like, what do you mean? Well, I guess I'll rescue them. So I'll show you the tomatoes from there, because that was crazy. These are rescue tomatoes. I don't even know what kind they are, but 2 zucchinis, fall harvest zucchinis, and then my little purple cutie through there is red clover, and I wish that I could find more of that. It's not the season to be like traditionally harvesting red clover, but I kind of missed the boat, so I'm trying to get back on the boat if there is a boat left. So yeah. So I lose my cool, and I've had a really intense week, which you're like, hey Ashley, I've only been following you for like a hot minute, and you've only been doing videos for a little bit, but you're like always having really intense weeks, and like maybe you should change something about your life. Thank you for noticing. We are changing lots of things about our life. And it's not a fun place to be, to always be stressed out about something. And then you're like, hey, don't you have a tripod? And I'm like, yes, thank you for inquiring. Do I know where the tripod is? I have no idea. So this is how I cope. I used to not cope and then scream at everybody. But both Dylan and I, not screaming at people, but like I was not a fun person to be around sometimes. So now Dylan and I can both see that from 10 miles away. And he says, I love you. Please go outside. I love you. You need some rest and some space. Hi, Dill. So the thing that I wanted to touch on that I forgot about or kind of lost track of before is I'm very nervous about this upcoming winter because I am so comfy in my summer coping mechanism of going to the garden that I have no idea what winter coping looks like. And it's really easy for me to get stuck and overwhelmed when I don't have something like a plan in place. So that's why I'm going to work on the morning routine, because most of the time that's how I started my morning, was going out to the garden, and then I'd go out like as needed from that point forward. So if I get a new morning routine going for everybody, then that's going to help me a lot. We're also working a lot indoors because everything went to H in a handbasket for growing season. Like the very last priority was the inside of our home in any sense. And that was totally fine when all we were doing is being outside. And now it's like such a source of stress for me to not have a clean, and not clean in the sense of like perfectly managed or like Pinterest house or anything, but like I need it decluttered because, like many people, my space exterior to my body mirrors my interior, like mind space. And so yesterday we had some new friends over to see if we would be a good fit for providing childcare for their family, and they're a great fit for us. So we're gonna be moving forward with that, which is really exciting. And they're a fellow homeschooling family, so that is wonderful. Jingle Bells is headed our way, just to give you a heads up. Hey! Oh, Vinny has bells too. So anyway, we furiously cleaned for those new people to come over. And I kept forgetting they were coming. Yes, baby.
Did you hear my singing?
I did. You're working hard.
Look what bell I
Are you
have.
excited for Christmas? Ooh, yeah. Ooh, it's loud. Not so close to my face, please.
Okay.
Go far away and do it.
Okay. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle all the way.
So we cleaned furiously. I kept forgetting that these beautiful people were coming. And so it hit me again. It kept hitting me all week, like, oh, we have to get ready for that. And then something else would come up. And then Friday night at like 8:30, I was just absolutely zonked from a really busy day. I was like, oh my gosh, no. Those friends are coming. What are we going to do? So we decided to go to bed early that night and then get after it in the morning. And so we cleaned for like 2 hours, and everything is so magical and perfect and beautiful inside. I just love it. So we're going to be doing that every Saturday morning from now on. I think we're going to do cleaning on Saturday morning, and then like Saturday quiet time is going to be a budget review, budget check-in, which is going to be really good because I do most of the budget stuff right now, and that is a source of stress for me, and it's just a lot easier for both of us when we do it together and are able to check in on a regular basis. So we are excited for that. So I'm just right now trying to tackle some coping strategies ahead of time that aren't the garden, and figure out what is going to be most productive for me in the winter, because I love being prepared and I love having a plan. That's a anxiety reducer for me. So it's just all about finding what you need and following that lead, following the lead of yourself as a mom just as much as we try to follow our children's lead in homeschooling. So that's my words of wisdom for today. So I'm going to keep doing this, the like mom coping side of things, because I think it's really important, and hopefully this will kind of help remove a barrier for some people that are on the fence about homeschooling and are like, oh, but I'm not patient enough. None of us homeschool moms are patient enough. We just find ways to be the best for our kids and know when to step away, I think, is the key to homeschooling being sustainable. Whatever that looks like, even if it's just you at home, what does that look like to step away and not just dive into your phone or watch a show or do something mindless or like dissociative, but like actually giving yourself like peace and rest so that you can come back to your kids feeling a little more refreshed than you did before. So that's what my journey looks like, is figuring out what that means for me. Being content and quiet with myself is something that I'm working on every day. So that's it. Thanks for joining. Hope to see you next time. We're Steady Presence Farms. Check out our day in the life of a homeschool homestead if you haven't already. We'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to our channel, and we will see you soon.